This episode of Distraction is sponsored by Landmark College, offering comprehensive support for students with ADHD and other learning differences. Learn more at lcdistraction.org. Landmark College, the college of choice for students who learn differently. I think instead of saying cheer up to someone, if you say life sucks, that cheers them up, because then they say, yeah, life really sucks, and you both laugh.
It's like, I'm so glad you said that.
Exactly. What a relief. Yes, it does, doesn't it? We're all going to die. Oh, my God, it sucks. Hello, this is Dr. Ned Hallowell for Distraction. This time of year, people start to think about new routines and changes they'd like to make in their lives, especially as we embark on a new decade. I turned 70. Talk about embarking on a new decade. Oh, my gosh. Well, my guest today has created a series of journals to help you, but they are definitely not your typical journals. Monica Sweeney, who joins me today, created, and let me just give you a warning, if there are children present, the title is not PG. So if you object to four-letter words, you should close your ears or turn off your radio or whatever device you're using to listen to this. I'll take a second here in case you need to send someone out of the room, or in case you need to turn it off, in case you don't like those kinds of words. Okay, with that warning, my guest today, and you're all thinking now, what in the world is this title? My guest today created a series of journals called Zen As F, including the most recent, Zen As F, a journal for practicing the mindful art of not giving a shit. I love that. Welcome to Distraction, Monica.
Hi, Ned. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining me. So I just have to ask, where in the world did this title come from? And, how did you get up the nerve to, or your publisher get up the nerve to put it out there? And there's a few books out there similarly, The Art of Not Giving a Fuck or whatever. So you're not alone in this new genre, but what should we call it? The I could care less genre?
Yeah, I think so. I work for a book publisher, and we're always trying to come up with different ideas of, all different types of books. But recently, what they called guided journals are really popular. And those books are to help people who may want to start journaling, but they don't necessarily have the inclination of how to get started or don't know what to write. So there are a lot out there. But for someone like me who might have a little bit of a hard time sitting in front of a journal prompt that's telling me to get at the heart of my feelings, and I might be hesitant about it, so something with a little sass was more approachable for me. So adding some four-letter words, I think, really kind of cuts through the nonsense for people and helps them approach journaling in their own way.
So when you say journal, these are books that people write in, like you would write in a journal?
Exactly. So each page has a different prompt on it. So usually there's a funny saying on there or something, and then the prompt will guide the journaler to whether something's going on where they're feeling a lot of stress or, they want to have a more positive outlook on something. Each prompt will allow them to get their thoughts out, but do so in a way that doesn't feel like you're being judged or, just lets you say things in your own voice.
Okay, well, unpack for me the meaning of the three-letter phrase, Zen As Fuck.
Well, I think the hope there is, especially in how busy people's lives are now and everything feels like a lot of chaos, like sometimes you just want to say, fuck it, and feel a sense of calm and cut through the nonsense and feel like you don't necessarily have to be stressed out all the time. So Jon Stewart had his moment of Zen at the end of The Daily Show, and gratitude is a really big thing right now, and people kind of connect with that word in a lot of different ways. Zen As Fuck felt like an appropriate title.
My introduction to Zen was with a patient of mine who said it all comes down to chop wood, carry water.
Yeah.
Just what you're saying, just keep it very simple.
Exactly.
And isn't the cornerstone of Zen sort of detachment?
Yeah, it certainly is, but I wouldn't say that this book is trying to connect to certain theologies.
Right.
But,
no, I didn't mean to imply that. Yeah, no, you're trying to help people get through life without letting things bog them down.
Exactly.
So each page has a humorous phrase, and then you hope that's a catalyst and you get going?
Exactly. Yeah. So there are certain pages, like there's one that says, to the fuckers who tell you that everything happens for a reason. And, you know, when something really bad happens and, you know, whether it's something small that messed up your day or something really kind of life-altering, a lot of times people will come back to you and say, oh, you know, there's always a silver lining, you know, things happen for a reason. And in a lot of cases, you just don't want to hear that when you're feeling sad or frustrated, and you just need a moment to feel that sadness. And then once you are able to wrap your head around it, then that's when you can start thinking about silver linings. But if that's the first thing you're hearing when, you know, you're struggling with something, it's not always helpful.
Yeah, so take your stupid silver linings and shove it. Maybe that's the next book, Zen As F, you know. So.
Yeah, exactly. I think the balance with this book that I was trying to have is sort of to recognize that you're going to have some dark moments, or you'll have frustrations, and you're allowed to feel that, but then also there are ways to add some positivity to it. So it's certainly not saying to dwell or to be angry, but it's just allowing you to be human and then find ways to have a little bit of a positivity toward the future.
So once you sort of expunged the fuck, once you've said, I don't give a fuck, how do you insert the positivity? Where do you find that?
You know, I think what my boss always tells me is that she says the phrase cheerful cynicism is sort of my outlook in a lot of ways, because I do have this sensibility of, you know, tongue-in-cheek comments and sometimes seeing the darker edges of things. But at the end of the day, I think I generally have a pretty upbeat outlook. And I think as long as you can keep this balance of recognizing that there are flaws to everything, but knowing that in some way, shape, or form, with the right kind of attitude, you can make it a little bit better. I
like that cheerful sentiment. It makes me think of that Monty Python movie. The last scene is all these people are hanging on crosses, and they start singing, "Look on the bright side of life."
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Sort of acknowledging the downside, not pretending it's not there.
Exactly.
But then saying, "Where's the pony?" and all this horseshit kind of thing.
Right. That's a perfect way to describe it, for sure. And I think I hope that people connect with that, no matter what you're dealing with, whether it's work stress or, you know, stress with family or, you know, some really large life things that you're dealing with. I wouldn't say this book is supposed to be prescriptive or anything, but it can be nice to feel like someone's on your team and just having an outlet to vent in a way that feels authentic.
Yeah, because there can be such a mandate to be positive and upbeat and smiley-faced, and it can be so fake.
Yeah, there's a page that I talk about gratitude, and it's something to the effect of expressing true gratitude, you know, not to be confused with her attention-seeking little sister, #blessed. And, you know, #blessed is something that people see all over the internet on, you know, different social media, and it can be really overwhelming to look at other people's lives and see how wonderful they feel. And if you're not feeling that way, you know, it can seem a little bit coated in sort of a veneer of phoniness.
Yeah, no, the on TV shows, everyone lives in this opulent, luxurious house or condo, and everyone's children are, you know, well groomed and polite, and or not polite, but in a very sophisticated and humorous way. You can feel as if, Jesus, I'm sitting here in my pajamas and slippers drinking a beer. I don't live like that. What am I doing wrong, you know?
Well, and it's a little bit of a vicious cycle, too. I think that contributes to people feeling like they need to do that themselves, and when they post on their social media about things that are going well for them, and it's a sort of grass is always greener when no matter which position you're in, if you're the one posting, you're on the other side of it, you know, you can either feel or contribute to other people, you know, wondering what's going on with you, and, you know, is my life not as good as theirs? And I think that can be a sort of an unfortunate cycle.
It absolutely can. I mean, I think instead of saying cheer up to someone, if you say life sucks, that cheers them up, because then they say, yeah, life really sucks, and you both laugh.
It's like, I'm so glad you said that.
Exactly. What a relief. Yes, it does, doesn't it? We're all going to die. Oh, my God. It sucks. What kind of response have you had to the book so far? How long has it been out?
Zen As F has been out for almost 2 years, actually. But I've seen the most responses from it probably in the past 6 months to a year. And it's been really kind of heartwarming to see people respond to it because I had someone say that they felt like they had a wing woman in her description of the book because she just had a buddy, someone who got it. And that made me feel really good. I don't know. I was surprised to see how much people liked it, or grateful, too, because I want people to like it. But It's nice to see that people connected with it and felt like there was an outlet for them or someone else who felt similarly.
Now, just so listeners know, there were 2 previous books in the series, and we're looking forward to a 4th yet to come out. So the first one was called Find Your Fucking Happy, is that right?
It's actually, so Zen As F was the first one.
Okay. Zen As F was the first one, okay.
Zen As F was the first one, and I followed that up with Let That Shit Go.
Okay.
And then Find Your Fucking Happy.
That was the most recent, was Find Your Fucking Happy.
Correct, yeah. And then on December 31st, Zen As F at Work will come out. So
on New Year's Eve, we get to see Zen As Fuck at Work. Now, what's Find Your Fucking Happy? Is that just similar in content?
Yeah, each of the books, Zen As Fuck, Let That Shit Go, and Find Your Fucking Happy, they all have sort of the same approach, but each one has a slightly different focus. I think Let That Shit Go is sort of self-explanatory, but Find Your Fucking Happy is sort of more about, appreciating the things that you have in front of you, maybe find it sort of recognizing that your happiness might be different from someone else's happiness, and each page gives you an opportunity to kind of think about the world around you as it is and recognize that not everything is rosy, but there are certain elements that can at least bring you a sense of comfort. One
of my favorite lines, a rabbi said, happiness is not having what you want, it's wanting what you have.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So find your fucking happy in what you have.
Exactly, yes.
Our culture pushes us always to just want more and fancier and more opulent, and, it's such a dangerous process to join.
It is, and I think, as we were talking about before with social media or whatever it is in your life that, makes you feel disconcerted or not good enough or whatever the case may be, there are all these outside pressures to feel happy or, with a capital H, like what is happiness and what does it mean to me? And I think that is sometimes a little too overwhelming, and being able to figure out the little things that's really important.
I think genuine happiness and joy is found in connection, genuine connection. And it seems like your books encourage readers to connect genuinely with themselves and the lives they're leading, as opposed to bullshit, as opposed to, fake happiness, which is misery.
Right. And, it's really important. Genuine is a great word because, if you're always trying to put on this veneer of happiness or a veneer of whatever it is that may be going on in your life, but you're frustrated underneath, I don't think that doesn't help yourself. It doesn't help the people around you who are trying to look to you for a sense of place. So I think being genuine with yourself and with others is really important.
Totally. I mean, if you can't do that, then whatever you get is phony as well, and that's not very satisfying.
Yeah.
Well, you sound like you're a master of genuine in a very wonderful, humorous way. I mean, humor is such a great way to cut through the bullshit, isn't it?
I think so. It's always helped me.
I think it helps just about everybody. So again, the book coming out December 31st is Zen As Fuck at Work.
Correct, yeah. And that's your everyday struggles, whether you're in the office or working on the labor floor or, wherever you may be. Hopefully, you can have a few spaces to vent about the things that irk you.
It's reminiscent of Dilbert, I think.
Yeah.
He was one of the first to cut through the bullshit at work. Well, Monica Sweeney, you're very special, and these books, they're wonderfully refreshing. They obviously give permission to people to be honest, to be real, and to be happy, but in a real way.
Thank you. That's very kind of you.
Well, thank you for coming on my podcast. I know our listeners will be glad to meet you and to go get Zen As Fuck at Work. Well, that's it for today. thanks again to Monica Sweeney. What a delightful young woman. I love her attitude and her spunk. She was wonderful. And please get a copy of one of her journals. You can click the link that we're going to put up on the show notes, or go to Amazon.com or wherever else you might happen to buy books. The new one coming out is Zen As F at Work. And I just think it's marvelously irreverent in a good way, trying to give people permission to be real and not put on happy faces when they're not feeling it. Well, please reach out to us with your comments on this show or any show ideas, questions. We love, love, love to hear from you. Just email connect@distractionpodcast.com. That's connect@distractionpodcast.com. We truly depend on and thrive with your questions, comments, and show ideas. Distraction is created by Sounds Great Media. The podcast is recorded and edited by the stalwart, strong, but always reliable Pat Keogh. And our producer is the evanescent, absolutely pixie-like, beautiful, and totally creative Sarah Gurton.